Peter Charles here, folks, fly fishing, and today we're going to tie a fly called the Stovepipe. Now, this is kind of an unusual fly. It's big, for starters, for a nymph. It can go from a size 6 to a size 10. It's not very nymph-like in construction. It's more like a small streamer. So I'm not sure what this is supposed to represent, but I can see this working really well for smallmouth as well as for trout. So let's get tying the Stovepipe and looking at the materials. Our hook is going to be a Mustad 9671 streamer hook. You could use a 3906B as well, either one. Our thread is a Unifier orange and an 8/0. Our tail is golden pheasant tip. Our body is a dark olive chenille. The hackle or the throat is going to be brown hen. And we're going to be using some teal for the wing. So let's get going. Actually, bring it back to the hook point. Now we tie in our pheasant tips. Just wind them back. Now, you've got some choices with this. You can go to great lengths to make everything perfectly lined up, or you can do what I've done here, make them a little bit ragged. I'm kind of in the ragged camp when I want a really fishy fly. If I want it to look pretty, I'll make sure they're all dead lined up. So, I'll leave that up to you, whether you like them really, really, really spiffy, or, that ragged, fluttery look, because I think the more ragged it is, the better it will fish. So now for our chenille. When you're winding on a bump like I am right now, where the tail is made, pull tight, and then as you come off the bump, just slacken off your pressure, and that way you'll get a level body. Also, wind those chenille wraps close together so they stack up and thicken up. Maybe one more turn. There we go. Now, when you're doing the legs for this thing, you could wind a hackle, stroke it down, lock it in place, or you can do what I'm going to do is just grab a bunch of barbs, pull them off the feather, and just tie them in underneath. Now, straighten them up. And now for our teal. Now, that's another place where I go ragged. If you've seen some of my other videos where I've used mallard or teal for a wing, you've got two choices. You could use two matching feathers, take off an equal amount of both, put the two halves together, end up with a beautiful wing. But does it fish that well? I prefer the ragged look, so I'm just going to grab a bunch of barbs, rip them off, kind of roll them together so they go splaying in different directions. And I make the wing about as long as the hook shank. Now, if you can look at that and you can say to yourself, is that enough wing? Do I want more? Do I want less? Take the opportunity to add a few more barbs if you wanted to. I'm going to leave it like that. I think that's fine. Now, don't be bashful with the head on this fly because you want that bright orange to show. I mean, we're using orange thread for a reason. We're not just doing it because that's the only thing we had left. We want that head to be nice and bright and to be like a strike trigger. Okay, now we whip finish. Okay, there we go. There's our Stovepipe. Interesting looking pattern. As I say, I wouldn't consider this to be a nymph. It's more like a small streamer or a wet fly. It's classified in my pattern book as a nymph, so we'll go with it. I think it'll be great for both trout and for smallmouth. Dead drifted and swung. I think things should work just fine. So give it a try. The Stovepipe. Cheers.